Hello again, everyone. This is American Idioms Part 76. This is the 76th video in my American Idiom series, and like the others, I'll present 5 idioms to you numbered 376 to 380. But first, I'll give you a chance to guess their meanings. Then, I'll give you the answers along with an additional example for each new idiom. I also recommend that you pause the video at each question to give yourself some extra time to think of the answers. So, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number 376. Meat on the bone. And the example is, the movie had many special effects, but there was just no meat on the bone when it came to its character development. Can you guess the meaning? And the answer here is B, some amount of substance, value, or meaning. And that's what it means if something has meat on the bone. So think of it as you're eating something, like let's say a chicken leg, right? And you're eating it and there's meat on it, you can eat it. But when there's no more meat, it's just bone, you can't eat it, right? So there's no substance. There isn't anything of value to it anymore. And this is how this is used. Like in our example, we're talking about how this movie this person saw had many special effects, but they didn't develop the characters. There was no meat on the bone when it came to this character development. Okay, that's what it means. If there's meat on the bone, there's some substance there. All right, like our next example. I was very excited to hear what the response from the governor was in regard to his policy on the homeless problem in our city. But the people who interviewed him asked questions with no meat on the bone. So I was very disappointed. So now we're talking about questions with no meat on them, meaning that they weren't of value. So this person was disappointed because the governor really didn't have to answer any tough questions about his policy. So his response was probably not what this person expected. Got it? And now for number 377. Come up short. And the example is, we came up short on our sales goal this month, so we're going to have to try something a little different next month to generate more sales. Can you guess the meaning? And the answer here is C, to fail to meet certain expectations. And that's what it means if you come up short, right? And in our example, they are talking about how they had a sales goal for the month and they came up short, meaning that they did not meet their expectations. Okay? So they're going to try something different next month. All right? So to come up short means that you fail to meet this expectation, certain ones. Okay? Like our next example. I wanted to paint my entire house last week, but I came up short because I had to work overtime on Thursday and Friday, and I just didn't have the time to finish it. All right, so this person failed to meet his expectation of having his whole house painted, right? Because he thought he would have more time, but he had to work overtime. Okay, so he came up short. All right, let's move on to number 378. Ace in the hole. And the example is, our superior technology will be our ace in the hole when our software goes up against its competitors in the market next month. Can you guess the meaning? And the answer here is A, to have something which you can use to gain an advantage. That's usually what we call an ace. If you're playing cards, the ace is the highest card. So this comes from playing cards. So if you have the ace in the hole, it means that you have this advantage. Usually you wait to use this card for something special. Okay? But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could just be your ace. All right? Let's say your winner, right? Something that you're going to use to beat somebody else. Okay? So in our example, we're talking about how the company's technology would be their ace in the hole when they eventually release this software. Okay? That would be their ace in the hole, their technology. Like our next example. The people of the city love the mayor's wife, and she turned out to be his ace in the hole when he was re-elected last month. Okay, in this case, the ace in the hole was this mayor's wife. The people loved her, and she played a big part, it seems like, in this example, in his re-election. So she was his advantage, right? His ace in the hole. Got it? And now for number 379. Hit someone like a ton of bricks. And the example is, the news that one of my classmates was killed in a car accident hit me like a ton of bricks. Can you guess the meaning? And the answer here is C, to have a sudden and significant impact on someone. That's what it means if you're hit by a ton of bricks. All right, literally, if all of a sudden all of this weight came down on you, kind of like a shock, all right, a sudden shock. And that's exactly what happened in our example. The person's talking about how one of his classmates was killed in a car accident, and he was very, very shocked, or had this big impact on him or her. Okay? Like our next example. Learning about all of the people who had been laid off in my company hit me like a ton of bricks. All right, again, we have this sudden impact or significant, maybe strong impact on someone. This is what happened here with the person learning about the big layoff, right, at his company. Okay, it hit him like a ton of bricks. He was very shocked, let's say. Got it? And finally, we have number 380, to live up to something. And the example is, I did the work assigned to me by my team for the project. I just hope the other people on my team live up to their assigned responsibilities. Can you guess the meaning? And the answer here is B, to do as was promised in an agreement or bargain. And that's what it means if you live up to something, all right, that you do what you had promised someone, okay? In our example, they're talking about how this person hopes that his teammates or his team members live up to, or they do as they promised, that everybody's going to work at this project, okay? He wants them to live up to their responsibilities. All right, that's what it means. Like our next example. The coach was very upset because his players failed to live up to his expectations. All right, so in this case, the players did not live up to, right? They didn't do as they had promised, maybe to play better or to do what the coach expected them to do. Got it? And that's all for this video. Thank you so much for subscribing, and please like and share the video to support the channel. And remember what I always say, keep practicing. See you next time.